Hello guys. Long time haven't seen you. Yeah, here am I again, Anna. Yeah, Heart of Match Guarantee. And I want to invite you for very interesting and deep conversation today with the name of our topic, How to Make Slavic Woman Fall in Love with You. Full guidance. Yeah, sounds very impressive. And, you know, I was when I was working on preparing on this live stream, I was summarizing thinkings about our clients' experience and seeing what's common, main reason why they fail, and so I realized I need to, you know, to make video about this in order to help you guys to understand better Slavic women, traditional women, because this is very different story from what you experience in the West, and really to understand these differences and you know mindset and what's important. um, like it's critical for your success, to understand how to navigate yourself, how to act. Hello, everyone. Yeah. So I also want to announce that I want to, you know, open this possibility for you guys who wants to join live studio. I will be doing this every Saturday. And the second part of the video, we will post a link. And you're welcome to come and ask questions on this topic or any topic about dating in Ukraine and everything that connected to this area. Okay. And so for now, let's get started. So my main point that I want to deliver, and it's kind of reflected on thumbnail, that if guy really like woman and he's failing at delivering her like this feeling that actually she can feel secure and relaxed with him, he will most likely fail. And it's kind of simple but not that simple to understand what secure means. That's why I decided to create this video and split up and to actually mention different area of security that Slavic woman needs to feel from you in order to um, to let her fall in love with you and follow you, because again, this is traditional culture where woman wants to follow, but she wants to follow men with whom she feels secure. So first, it's probably no-brainer for you. You all know that it comes from our physical. For example, we send profile of the man to woman, and if there is somehow we miss his height, this first question what she will ask us, what his height. And it's just because she wants to understand, like, when she will start relationship with you now, in future when she will meet, if she will get this like natural need of feeling secure, like physically he's bigger than me, right? So this first is need is feeling physical protection from men. Then of course when you meet, there is can be different situations, where woman would not behave herself, like she will provoke things to test you. No, it will not be the case. But if something happened, she would want to feel that you on her side. And I don't know, I shared before, I had situation where just stranger on the street when I started date Joe was doing something bad to me, and Joe was like stand up. He was not like doing something crazy, but I felt like I felt happy about this, seeing this side of him, that he's not just like I'm his woman and he's protecting me. That's what I mean. That's what woman wants to feel. I mean, in Ukraine, in our traditional culture, women don't want to be strong. She doesn't fight for this, you know. She wants to be feel not like weak, but okay. She understands her power in her weakness. You know, she's happy with where she is. You know, being feminine, and so it's her it's her natural need of, you know, being with somebody physically stronger, um maybe emotionally, yeah, not maybe, but definitely. So, and this is my second point. It's she needs emotional protection. And we're actually going to do more detailed video on that next Saturday, because this is a huge topic, and this includes you know, mm, a lot of knowledge for you guys about how dating changed since war started, because emotional security that, you know, requires for, in order for men to be successful, is just changed, you know, since February 24, 2022. It's anymore, you know, they don't live anymore in this stable, predictable future. And so emotionally, women, you know, they changed, and we will talk about this more on our like separate live stream next Saturday. Okay, if you want to know what changed and who can be successful and how you need to act now to be successful, this will be next Saturday. But now I just wanted to mention that emotional security, what is this? It's, for example, when women have ability to talk to her man, express her emotions, you know, and he can listen to her. And like, I know men very logical, man always wants to find, you know, solution, and like, you know, always want to like very quickly find you know, solution. But sometimes when women do this, it's not because she wants to find solutions. She actually wants just to release her emotion, because women by nature, they're much more, you know, emotional. Okay, those women who live in high feminine energy. And so when she shares something with men, it's not always she's looking for a finding solution. She just want to release something that, you know, in her heart and her mind, and she wants to just to be heard. And so this is part of emotional protection, you know, that requires. And so in nowadays situation, of course, when she's going through a lot of stress, and so when men cannot understand where she at, you know, like understand, have empathy to her situation, this is one of the reasons why relationship doesn't work, because like they want men to, you know, to understand and to have like, you know, that's when your uh, emotional intelligence, you know, turn on, right? Where you, this is not IQ, right? It's a EQ. um, and that's where you know, show your quality of your soul, you know, are able to, I don't know, wear her shoes and understand where she's at, and just like be a little bit more compassion and understanding about this. Also, emotional protection, it's include for, especially for Ukrainian ladies, it's when she's not trust about she's trust you, she's not question about your, you know, infidelities or those things, you know, she feel that you focus on her, um she's the one, um and so what's working against this, right? If she's seeing that you, I don't know, she sense and she's seeing that you developing several relationship, as soon as she, you know, caught on, like, women very intuitive, you know, they don't need proof, but they sense this, you know. And so if she somehow she caught you on this is goodbye, you know. she she wants to know, especially I know this is more, you know, more normal and more acceptable in your culture, you know, to like have several dates and at the same time several people. It's just not something that um, like people do in our culture, in traditional culture. So it's just a red flag for her. She wants a man who, you know, if you like woman really, you better make sure she, you know, she knows your intentions. If she feel that you after her, you know, you wants to win her heart, you know, you there for her, and like all in full, not just like 5% here, I'm trying 5% with other lady, and then 50 more backups plans, you know. mm, just not the way to be successful, definitely with Slavic women who's looking for serious relationship and creating families. Okay, so emotional protection, it also includes like going through, I don't know, different situations just while you're dating, you know, how you would react and show up yourself, you know, like, I don't know, in simple thing. um she's been late for a date. What will be your reaction if you will, I don't know, blow up like in, and will be very not stable emotionally. You know, why would woman wants to take a chance to develop relationship with you and just like move to you, and then I don't know, find out that you just no, find out more, you know, of what you're capable for, you know. It's just yeah, she's with these small things, even subconsciously she can. I've done actually separate video on this, how women unconsciously um, she test you. And Joe have done video for you guys how you can do this to with women, you know. So it's from recent live streams, you can find them on the channel. And it's important to understand that, yeah, as I always say, there is only can be only one woman in a family. And so and in traditional family, it's woman, it's not man. So man need to find the strength in himself to be grounded, to be strong, to like the strong, yeah, that she wants is so complicated thing, right? But this is about emotional stability as well. So then we talk about financial security, right? And I know you guys, it's like it's it's tough topic. Every time when we talk about money, I always like being slammed, like, oh, it's like all Ukrainian women just want money and all of these things. And just, you just, I mean, I don't know how you know Ukrainian women, you know, maybe just from these paper letter websites, but this is not actually Ukrainian women. This is just, you know, businesses that work, and it's nothing about creating couples. And but those who actually lived in Ukraine or traveled there, and they saw real people get experience. Of course, there is different type of girls you can meet, you know, and there is also gold diggers exist. I don't hide this, you know. It's also, but if you talk about high quality women, when what we talk about financial security, it's um when men, especially older, right, our couples normally not very young, yeah, but when they start relationship, she's looking for some stability, where especially if she's moving to other country, right, where her at least basic needs, right, until she will adjust. And not until she will adjust, even when she adjusts, you know. When I talk about financial security, I'm talking about shelter and food, you know, this basic thing. I don't talk about her wanted to, I don't know, buy, you know, expensive brands or something. I'm talking about basic things. Because what happened when women, especially like when she move into another country, this is a lot of stress on its own, you know, giving up on her life friends, trying to adjust, having, I don't know, language um, barrier and a lot of adjustment. And then you add to this stress about where I will be living and how I will be buying food. It's just, over top. And then, of course, you know, if you, that guy who cannot provide for yourself these things, it's definitely not, journey for you. Because it's obvious when um, you know, when you started this journey, it requires finance you to come to meet her, and then be able to, if everything works well, you guys fall in love and relationship develop, she will rely on you financially when she will move to you. And until I don't say like women have intent to just move and don't do nothing. No, they, most of Ukrainian women that I know, very rarely when she doesn't want to work, like she just wanted to stay home. But especially if it's younger lady, and you wanted to have kids, of course she will be questioning how you will have kids if um, if you cannot provide basic needs. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. So when we talk about financial security, we talk about basic things, and I know a lot of successful, entrepreneurs, Ukrainian women who in relationship with foreigner or got married with them. And I know that the way financing a family works, men taking care about shelter and, like, I don't know, food and vacations or like those things, but then she's making a lot of money. But I mean, they can do together some, you know purchases um, together. But I mean, properties or those things. But like if you come um, to the point where you just mm, where you rent place or something, she wants to see that you know you have this desire and you want to take this responsibility on yourself, because this is actually how man build his masculinity, taking responsibility. And I mean, I know these women, they can't pay for everything for by themselves, but the thing what happening to these women, if they start to do this, they question what this man doing next to me. Like, they just, like, they feel loved when man cares, in this way, providing basic needs. Okay, she can spend her money on whatever she wants, I don't know, make things that makes her happy. And it's always the way it works in a I know it's very different in the West. That's why I'm talking about this. But I know couples who was um happily married, and international couple. And then what happened, while she was adjusting and learning local language, man was supporting her and you know helping her to adjust and everything. But then when she got job and fully integrated into new country, he told her, listen, now you'll pay like some money for flat, for loan, for my loan, and some for electricity or something. So in actuality it was not big amount of money. But you know what happened? He lose his beautiful marriage, because when she started to do this, she was okay. If you want, then yeah, I'm capable of, like, I can do this now. And so women go for this because, like, they don't want to, like, I don't know, to upset men. Sometimes they don't understand what will be the result. They just do because, like, that's what their partner wanted. But you know what happened to this beautiful couple? um she told him at the end of the day, listen, I don't know what's going on, but I just like, I feel now that, this is just like, you're a great friend of mine, but I just don't have romantic feelings towards you. You see? So like this, I don't know how much, like $300 or whatever she'll start to pay, cause him to lose romantic things in relationship, because that's the way when men provide these basic needs, taking care about shelter and I don't know, food supplies, it's make woman feel taken care of. And you see the big difference between traditional woman, she wants men to take care, while Western woman wants to show her independence and she doesn't need that, and all of that. So it's very different. It's very different situation. So guys, you come from to me from your own pain of like over demanding of, I don't know, Western women, what they want. But I'm trying to like explain you. Of course, there is different women in Ukraine with a different lifestyle from different families. Some of them from rich family. Of course, lifestyle that you can provide, and her lifestyle that she used to live should match. This is not question, of course. Um, but generally speaking, it's much more easier to please and to make happy Slavic woman, because she's not that spoiled. She just basically, um, I know for every man this is super important to feel valued, for everything he do for the family, and that's what feedback you have in a healthy relationship, like you provide, and she's very appreciative and she's grateful to you, and this is beautiful. And she's showing her love in her own way, uh, taking care about you, about home, um, communicating with you on your love language, whatever it is, right? And it's like, I know a lot of Western guys now don't see value in this because they just so much, you know live in their pain and frustration, about how world change. But I mean, women generally. But in Ukraine, this traditional world still exists, and trust me, Ukrainian men know value of it. They know what is like when they create this opportunity of their woman to be relaxed and feeling taken care of, just like taking bath in her love that she radiates to him, and how much it's affect him, in his projects, in his realizations. Like it just he's growing, his business growing, everything, because woman gives her energy, like if you talk about love in relationship where it goes, in like uh, in the synergy of energy, and it's beautiful thing, it's magical things, and that's how it's, if it's supposed to be, interacting and loving, you know and not single. But I understand a lot of people coming from their pain choose to be single, and it's just not the place where, I mean, it leads you to certain comfortable life, right, where you rely on yourself. But at the end of the day, you cannot, I mean, I believe on the relationship we really come to best version of ourselves, to not double happiness, but I don't know, a million times more happier. It's also challenging, but this is the way we actually grow and know ourselves and become incredible, the best version of ourselves, yeah, as I said. So let's move on to another type of protection that women looking for, and that's critical for your guy's success to know all of these things and keep them in mind and act, um, accordingly. So it's informational protection. And I know that this is something not exist in the West at all, but this is, trust me, very, very popular thing in Slavic culture, and that's the way masculine man behaves in Ukraine. Um, what I want to say here that it's like if you will ask any Ukrainian man when he's going through some troubles, he always try to like at least to not involve the mother in this because older generation they have hard time to like handle some stressful situation. So because he loves her, he wants to protect her. The same men do. I don't say completely like supportive about this to some point, right? But they do this to women too. Like if they know that they go through hard times, but there is solution, like, and he just know, okay, I don't want to add more stress in this, like make my woman worry while she, cannot like even help. So why would I, share with her? And so I see sometimes Joe picked this thing from Ukrainian men, and sometimes when some things, happen, I see he just don't want to tell me, and sometimes I'm angry, like who am I? Tell me everything. But then I think, okay, like less know, better sleep, So sometimes I feel okay. He's just caring about my emotional, you know, stability and, not like his values is peace in the family. I don't say this is like always, there is things where we involved and we need to make decisions together. This is not those things. It's just matter of something that I cannot help, I cannot change, and everything that can be add um, to this picture, it's just my I don't know, my bad mood, or like my stress, that everything that can be outcome of him sharing with me. And so in this situation, he preferred to not to share. And I at the end of the day, I agree. I don't need, like, I'm appreciative, for example, when I understand this is part of his job. He's sharing a lot about his past experience in order to help you guys to be successful, and I have to listen to all of that. But if not you guys, I would be happy if he will keep these things to himself. I And he's not doing this always. He's still learning, I see, because sometimes he's telling things that I mean, I understand we all have past, right? But do we need to really to go there and or just just accept it as a part, unless we have to learn something from there, like there is really necessity, not just to blah blah blah, or like for example, I'm doing the same basically in my way, like for example, um, if I see there is some, you know, some thing that, coming out from my mom because of stress, I'm not translating that to Joe. I don't need that, I don't need, um, although they anyway come up, not through me, but through the children, but it's already another story. But I mean, I do care about like our space and like emotional uh, peaceful loving atmosphere in home, and I do want to protect that as well as he does, towards me. And I believe this is also one of the important things to have a peaceful loving relationship, just um like this swan, swan. I love this example of this bird. This one, when she drink water in a lake, She has inner filter, and she take only clean water, and the rest she's releasing. That's what, to be those swans for each other, creating this atmosphere of, pure love and peace, and doing our best. Of course, we all can fail at some point, and we're not all ideal, and you don't need to be very, tough on each other about this. I mean, have over expectations, but just generally have this intent, understanding that this atmosphere you create together, and put in efforts to keep this healthy atmosphere. When you have trouble and you need to decide it, of course you share and you find solutions, don't get me wrong. But if there is some situation that you cannot, um, okay, I will give you another example. For example, I I was when war started, I was watching always this news, like first half a year, and crying, and just like, I understand, and I was, feeling a lot of like negative emotions, stress, and I understand I'm like, I'm consuming all of that, and then, I'm not a man who can go, at war, for example, and fight or release, at least this aggression. So where it lands actually in my family, and I'm passing it to children, to to people that I love, and so I start to question myself, like, mm, you know why I'm doing that, like, if I can do something about this, I can really do impact, then of course or if I don't know, this is my job, to report to people. But then when you come to the point where you understand that you as a family, you just want, you know um one piece of society, like, and if you take responsibility from what you create, and what you experience every day in your, life, and what emotions you create, and how your life fulfilling, and how much love in your life actually. And so you take responsibility for this, and then you give this example to children, and then they will be hopefully creating the same type of families. It's like when you take responsibility for yourself, for your life, for your family, it's just like this is the way you make actually, this world healthier, happier, because everything, all changes started from within us, from us, when we start to taking responsibility for this. So um that's my point, talking about informational protection. um, you see, and I know some women still now, they you know since after 2 years, they still stuck some in, in this news, going through a lot of stress, and um, having their relatives involved, going into war. Of course there is a lot of things, um, and there is different stages, somebody already, like me, um, learn from this, and um, made choices toward love and acceptance, and just like, these different stages, right, in psychology, when you go through. And I have very big, like, in these last 2 years, very big transformation and perception of what's going on. And but this is definitely separate video. But anyway, so yeah, so if you can, as a man, not add more, fuel, um especially now being in a relationship with a woman when she going through a lot of stress, and just not bring your stress to her, that's what I mean, emotional, um informational protection, right? Just deal with your own stuff, and trust me, your stuff is not as, I mean, in most cases not as tough as her things that she's going now. And I mean, I don't want to disvalue your things, but it's just really hard to understand, you know, Ukrainian person if you've never been in her shoes, you know. And I'm not judging you, I understand it's hard, you know, unless you live it through, then, you know, it's much more easier. That's why, you know, having empathy and just normal level of compassion, it's really helping, you know, helping in relationship to uh, you know, to understand woman and to be successful. And she will be, you know, it's just like different people need different time to get over, you know. And as I said, choose again, choose to live no matter what, choose to take care about yourself, you know, emotionally, and choose take responsibility from every of your, you know, things that you experience is feeling, and working with them, you know, not hiding, not running from them. And so another type of and I don't know if I should talk about this even, but I mean, of course, if you will be, it's more about when you come to the with you, you know, in successful relationship and everything good, and you have already full relationship, right? There is one more type of protection that woman who is with you, right, she expect to have. It's called sexual protection. And what is sexual protection means? It's when you should I tell you? I'm very very grateful to okay. Sexual protection, it's when woman, when you create a situation when you do care what she feels and what she wants, and just not doing your thing because this is your you know, biological need, and you don't care what she wants, you know, but actually having sex together where you enjoy it. And when your woman wants, you know, and having this beautiful, you know, from this natural attraction, and that you have experiences, you know, not just physical things, but just really going through a lot of different type of enjoyment that you have, right, when you have sex from person that you love, you know. Even hard to call it sex, it's making love, because and making love on many different levels, right? Your body connected, your emotional, you know, you love each other, you, it's just not something that really biological need or some, it's just, it's really magical when it's goes both ways. And this is one of the type of security that woman wants to, she she appreciate when, you know, when, like, if she doesn't feel good and man um, don't push because he need, you know, or I don't know, just and I believe this is I don't know how common this is in the West. And if I have to guess, I think in the West there is more men would um, who would be more attentive to woman's needs and her mood, and like, but okay, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that I want to tell, okay, if woman doesn't want, like, you know, this is like her, you know, if she doesn't want, maybe never want, you know, then it's also you have to live like that. And I believe it's you know, it's always, again, this is partnership, this is relationship. And so if you want to keep, you know, healthy relationship, it's always sexual life, it's one of the those one that help to keep this fire and love in loving relationship. And so I believe that it always solution is always dialogue. If she doesn't want now, like maybe she doesn't like you what you do. It's open dialogue about what we can change, how you want it. Just like find a way, and find a way of making woman wants you, right? And or like, but I also think this is also woman responsibility to. But I mean, what I'm thinking that when woman lives in the feminine energy, normally this is her, this is her natural state. The question that she need to be attracted to a man, right? If she's not attracted, that's a problem. So if you, I don't know, in relationship with gold digger, and she doesn't want you, it's it's just not a relationship based on love. So cannot do much about this, and this is your choice, to be in this relationship. And I don't know, maybe this is trophy wife or whatever she is for you, but this is different story. But I'm talking about situation where you love each other, you have attraction natural, and you being attentive to each other. And I say, okay, Joe, sorry, but I will tell your papa's wisdom. I never met your father. I wish I could, but I'm very grateful. He made such a beautiful, a lot of impacts in who John become. Sorry, just like Joe told me so many beautiful stories about his life, and it's his beautiful, beautiful soul. Okay. Okay, still no makeup. um, yes, okay, sorry guys. What he taught you from very early ages in his life, he had very open dialogue with him. And that's what I think what should be, like, I don't know, I think in the Slavic culture we have a little bit um this father role a little bit, mm, you know not value enough, like father role in the children lives, like father in our culture, uh again, because maybe this is traditional culture part of it, right? They like feel, okay, this is just woman's job, to take care about child. But there is something that only man can give to a man, and there is some things only a woman can give to a girl, for example. But it doesn't mean that there is always two parents. So there is something, two things to, to make this person holistic can be added, but different, from father and from mother. And in this regard, I admire Western guys and the way they, the way they do their parenting. I never saw so much like fathers in the schools or playgrounds or like walking with the children. And I really, yeah, this is area of improvement for Slavs. But yeah, so my point was that I'm admiring Joe's father, and that he had very, open conversation with him. He was young, and he was telling him, listen, your number one task in the bed to make sure your lady satisfied. And you know what, he was always popular among women. So I mean, he was, yeah, he had great life. And unfortunately, George's mother, she died when he was very, when he was boy. And he had to find strength to, continue to live life. And yeah, but that's, I mean, that's a beautiful thing if you have like if you got such a man who really cares what woman feels. And it's really, it's really important for him. Like, it's not just like, it's more than important. It's like, again, this is about connection. mm, I think, sorry, I think this is when men have very low emotional in um, there is IQ, yes, and this is EQ. It just doesn't allow him to, like, he's not in contact with himself, and he has hard time to, like, sense people, sense their mm, and women, sometimes they're hard to read, right? It's not always like she's talking straight about what she wants, right? So sometimes you have to guess, and sometimes you need to be a magician to figure out. And yeah, I have to admit that I'm very strong empath, but Joe, he's very strong as well, especially for a man. And so he sends people, he sends me, he read me just from one look, that I don't need to tell him much. But and I think this is mm, part um of man's success now. It's having this you know emotional intelligence developed. And what is included, it's self-awareness, it's empathy, it's motivation, it's self-regulation, it's social skills. You can read about this more if you haven't heard it. But I believe this guys with a high hmm, EI, yeah, emotional intelligence, uh, it's much more easier for them will be journey. But again, okay, here, like, if guy just like, if you can combine this with a masculine energy, that's a beautiful cocktail, when he just not because this is basically, this is more women think than man. But you know mm, there is a there is this knowledge that I got in my one of my education, that mm, you know there is no, like, balance person when you have, like, in woman, you have 70% of woman's energy and 30% man, and man opposite, right? 70-30. And so what does it give? Like, if imagine if, like, 100% women live in just in feminine energy. So, like, when it comes to they need to take care about themselves, or I don't know, they stayed, I don't know, single mom with children, don't have way to now, they need to turn on their masculinity in order to provide for themselves, to find a job, and, like, I don't know, like, just to be this strong strong women who, not because they want, but they have to, right? They turn on their masculinity because of situation they're going through, right? And so the same with the man. If man just live on 100% of his masculine energy, he just don't have like, you know he don't have any patience to, like, to understand, emotional woman and her nature, right? Because he don't have this 30%, he's 100%, like, I don't know, go 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 go, like, logical, I don't know, structure, um strong, and, like, what she's crying about, like, like, and so um and it's hard for those men, like, they can I have woman, but, like, without, like, any scenes, like, then you better date man, there's wait, sorry, in their masculine energy. Sorry guys, I will just for a second crying, and all my sickness also. So Боже мой. So guys, yeah, this is basically 5 of those securities that I wanted to share with you. I don't know. Do you want somebody to come to me? You was so active, and I'm so grateful, you guys. Yeah, but I was just so much trying to be focused, and I'll go through quickly through your comments, and if you want, while I'm reading, maybe I'll answer in some. And so you're welcome to join if you have questions, right? And a high value man includes high value Western men will never date multiple women. Those men dating multiple, lack of commitment. Yeah, okay, that sounds great. And clarify things. Hello, what? Hi, what? Mm, men that sensitive to discuss about money at stages building relationship, most likely not fully financially stable. Yeah, I agree with you, and that's like I feel like I'm triggering here something. When I made this video about when you was talking when you start to date, right, a woman that you like, and then you start to talk to her about like that you buy food. I was talking about food at the discounts in the shop. It make you feel not secure. Again, I got bombed with so many questions. I mean, not like angry messages towards me, and like um people start to write about deals in the shop. You know what, I'm number one who looking for deals. I love to buy everything at the deals. But I was talking about food at the discount. It's a different thing, and I was talking about situation where it's not family budget, but this is actually you start to date her, and you kind of like not very known people for each other, and you come from another country and you want to pull out her from a place where she feels secure, and having her relatives, I don't know, flat, whatever, and you want to bring her to your home um and by having this conversation you really set her. Again, this is security, this is financial security, right? This is one of the you triggers her security if you're capable to provide at least like basic needs. Again, having shelter and having food. And so it's a question to her when she hears such a talks. It's not about um, Ukrainian women being spenders. Most of Ukrainian women that I know, they I mean, this is just very cultural, it's in the culture to live very economically, to buy a very, like, to be very frugal with money. And I was telling this, and I will be telling this again and again because that's what I'm observing. I grew up in this culture. But I'm not talking about, my point was about like the way you structure your conversation when you're trying to win her heart and talking about these things, you're just triggering her. Maybe this is part of like you trying to like be more frugal with the money, and it's okay, and trust me, she will be. But just don't talk about this, when it comes to family budget, she will be on your side. She will be, to some point, to some point, guys. I mean, what I say, to some point, if you're really really cheap, and she used to live like, I don't know. That's what I was talking about. That's where start. Your lifestyle should be matching, and um, she don't want to downgrade her life. She doesn't want to like be stressed about. Like I was talking about real example of our client, and what fears he can bring by talking about this. She was asking herself if she will move to him, like she will have to, until she adjusts and have job, whatever, she will have to break him to, I don't know, buy tampons for her, for her period. And so like she feels so like um she's not ready for that. She don't want this. She just don't want to buy mm, yeah, to have these questions in her mind. And this is because he's triggered her financial security by this conversation. So I'm talking, guys, not because I want to fight you or tell you how, I want you to learn from other guys' experience and make, conclusions, what to talk about, to to help you to succeed in this journey, since since you, if you hear, probably that's what you're looking for. Man, that's sensitive. Yeah. So I think I've done separate video on this when we was analyzing statistics and um reasons, but it's just different live stream. Yeah. Man, they don't have good relationship with money, have a scarcity about money in marriage. Oh, okay. Wait, William. A very stupid question. If after Ukrainian woman moves to the West, would it offend her have her put her name on a few bills, not for her to pay, but simply to build her credit score? I think I think Williams, you know it's a question how you will approach, and you will explain her for what is this. Like you tell me, if it's not for 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 her to pay, but helping her actually to integrate into culture, to, I understand, in future to have access to credit, it's in her interest, right? And so just dialogue about this, and just explaining why this action will be in favor of her, will help with that, right? But if we just put in like and with no explanations, she might think that now she is obligated to pay, and it can be trouble. It can be trouble. So that's that's I say always, guys, wherever you do, it's just about clear communications and explaining your intentions about things that you're doing. Certain states more expensive than states. If you think they can provide for a small family with income, then the lady wouldn't have an issue with it, I think. Yeah. Oh, Joseph here. Anna, it implement is upper class Western society, but not lower than, unless they well educated about this. Mm-hmm. Joel, Santa is like him, and need a man who will be responsible, liable, trust. Once she trusts you, she will blow. Thank you, TJ. Looks like you know Ukrainian women. Looks like you have experience. That's true. What it is. And so, of course, it takes. Um, TJ, just our new client, right? I think, yeah. Um, Guys just don't understand. There is a difference between when you try to win her heart. It's one thing that happening. It's not games, nothing like that. It's just about, you know, people seeing each other, understanding what they want, their life purposes, life values, seeing if you have potentially common future, seeing how you feel next to each other, and seeing you in different actions, because like Ukrainian women, they read you through everything you do. She's looking in what bouquet of flower you brought. If you come without flowers, this is tells her a lot also about you. Okay, she can give you like discount for that you may be foreigner, and this is not. We put in a lot of effort to teach you guys, don't do that. just don't find excuses come without flowers. You just like you're losing your points. So like this is at the beginning it's just kind of point system. She's like tick tick tick, okay, he brought flowers, he likes me, he's serious, he know. um it's the way you actually, if you like woman, that's the way you want to act, because you want to win her heart. As simple it sounds, right? And so you want to make her, you want to show that you after her, right? Because she has a lot of these guys, even like it's still in Ukraine, a lot of sex tourists who is not, they just like they try for towards you, um like I don't know, just I don't know, street pickup or something, super simple, right? But then if you like say no, um that's where it's end, right? And mm, I mean, maybe not very good example, but something like this. I mean, she see that you like, okay, you or another, she's like don't care, she doesn't want to feel this. If you, um, you know she wants to feel that really you into her, and you ready to do something, and like you, yeah, first like you put actions into winning her heart, and then when you win her, you conquer her heart, it's a different stage of relationship. That's when you have this, beautiful interaction with each other, and expressing love and being everything to yourself, to each other, being friends, being lovers, being partners, I don't know, so many. I know Ukrainian women who work together with their husbands, whatever, so many different scenarios how things can unfold. Um, but this, without this first stage where she feels that, basically she need to figure out that sex tourists, just come and go, you reliable man who made his mind, who made his choice on her, and she wants to see that this is not in words, because that's what sex tourists do. They do a lot of words, but they don't do actually actions, or do very hurtful actions. But yeah, I want to see. Mm-hmm. Throat menu. I don't see it really, guys. If you're not right one question, better you write question mark, so I know that I need to post it and maybe answer. Um, I see that you talking to each other, so there was a lot of questions. So if anybody joined me, no, a new member yet today. I'm excited for your journey. Started with us. Yeah. So um, Sandra, do you find it difficult to find a wife? It's question to me. For me, probably not possible, because I need husband and I got one. No, or it's a question to other. Um, yeah, we can put this link right now. What? If somebody ready to join right now, please. Yeah, okay, Santos. Please join if you. Yeah, let me know in chat if somebody's going to join, and then yeah, we will post link then in comments. Okay, Santos, I was joking. Yeah. No, I was thinking maybe you ask about. There's new guy, yeah. Amigo Santos, aloha. You will achieve success without stress when you let things align, not overthink. Godspeed, he process. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And in Europe, a lot. Yeah, a lot everywhere. Anyway, they all going through different, yeah, challenges, readiness, whatever. You have still, even we have ladies who live in America, in Canada, and still, you know, looking for a husband through us because you know they walking with a face probably like this. Just I have a hard time to do this face, you know, but okay. And like it's just scare guys to try to approach them. Although they beautiful, nice flower inside, you know, they want relationship, but they just this is something very very normal for our culture, you know, to be sensitive flower inside, but then walking with this with this face, like try to talk to me, I will kill you. and then and then no wondering, yeah, that they not being approached. But I mean, it's not only the way the expression of their face, but it just generally guys afraid to approach. Even I'm walking with this shine face, you know, I always smile, I don't have problems, I don't have this, you know, I don't have this expression. But I was in like I don't need to be approached, right? But I'm just observing, like, you know, living here in the West, I for all time, I think I was approached one time, um, in like more than half a year, and I'm not sure it was actually approach. I think it was compliment. I don't know what he says was not clear, but I I just assuming by, you know, by face expression and things that, you know, he was like maybe some, yeah. um so what I'm saying that guys shy to approach ladies, and that's definitely what I observe here living in the West, or compared to Ukraine, where I'm, you know, as Ukrainian lady was approached oh many times on the street, like when we lived in, especially in crowded place like in the center. Or I just go to shop, and then, no, on the way back, some Ukrainian men already bring bags to, you know, to flat or helping, you know, and it's very natural to in Ukraine to offer help if you see a woman on the street carrying heavy bags, and they're happy to do this, and they don't have expectation they will get definitely a number. Just like this is this is this is built up in a man's. I don't know, the way they should approach women, because that's the way they, you know, they seen father treat mother or something like this. So yeah, traditional culture. What to say? But yeah, my point was that they don't afraid to approach. But then I understand why guys here are not approach. Maybe it was differently before, but now with all this feminism, you don't know what will be reaction and how it will end up for you. So guys start to, um, you know, depress this natural skill. And so with having all these apps, you know, people do this online, but it's different, right? If you have just intuitive calling, you like woman, like imagine if Joe wouldn't just try to talk to me on the street when he saw me. um, okay, he found reason, you know, like what to ask. But I mean, we can say he was just, you know, he could ask anybody, right? But he asked me. He just created this a sense of this is actually very good, yeah, very good strategy. It's like women, they happy to help, so like if you want to approach lady, just asking for help, yeah, and then she'll be happy to help. So that's what Joe done. But if he wouldn't do this, he would be shy, you know, we would never like have our family, and like we never met. I mean, I believe in destiny. It happened because it should happen. Maybe we would meet in another way. But I mean, okay. Okay, my point is that while you shy, you know, maybe you're missing out on your, and I understand it's with these apps, it's become more easier, to. Mm. But then, if you talk about international marriage, what we are doing, right? You can approach lady, but it doesn't mean she's like a lot of guys was bringing my bags to my door, like to the building where I live. But I was like, and then at the end they was asking like, um, can I get your number? And I'm like, no, I'm in a relationship. Like, thank you. Mm, but mm, um, what I want to say that um, what my point was. Oh my goodness. What I want to say that yeah, with our guys, international marriage, that's the thing. When you approach lady, you don't know, like all these guys, right? Who was and then I'm taken. But then when so with us, that saves a lot of time of guys, right? They know that our ladies, they pre-screen, they want relationship, they want serious, marriage. So they're looking for serious relationship, and saves them much of time, right? And while you approach lady on the street, you don't know. Like I was spending a lot of time in center, in different times of my life in Kiev, because I had worked there. And was a lot of foreigners, and I've been approached by foreigners a lot, in like from 2003 when I moved to Kiev. uh, and I never had any like relationship with them, right? Because I was in a relationship when I was approached. And that's the thing. Yeah, to catch a single man, on the street, it's if she is a high quality woman, and she, um, I mean, um, serious, and mm, no, it's just your chance. It's just more time, more difficult. And I see some of our ladies that just join us, and we have new client, and just like everything happened super quickly with them. Mm, they found in each other, quickly. Uh, yeah, so I see the value that, I say, um, there is many different type of resources exist in the world, right? And money one of them, but time, it's this resource that we cannot restore. We cannot for now. I don't know, with future technologies maybe we will be able to go back in time. But um and that's why, this understanding, like how valuable, our services are for guys in their, in the life, um yeah, how quickly they can be successful with us um if they decided, they open for coaching, they do steps towards them. It's a matter of finding the right person. um don't need to settle down, going to, trying to start a relationship with a super big deal breakers, and just, trying to, let's say, put triangle in a square, whatever. It's not a case. But mm, mhm. Yeah, so that's the thing. Actually, on this point, guys, I was talking a lot today, and was sorry, I was my nose running. Guys, if you thinking about, finding Slavic woman, Ukrainian woman for marriage. If you want serious relationship, I don't say you quickly need to get married, but anyway, you have questions about this journey, feel free to come on our to register at matchguaranty.com/register to get a free consultation with us, where we will answer on all your questions and just explain you how we work, because still a lot of guys, what you talk about, like war in Ukraine, and yet we have already several marriages from since the war started, people who was introduced after war. So it's just there is always in life results or excuses, and so we know what we're doing. We had the same question when war just started, but now having experiences almost 2 years, we see the results, and we have system, it's changed, and we will talk about what you can find more detailed on during consultation, but also we will talking about how emotionally women changed, and what qualities of men who can be successful now, how we need to act more on this topic on next Saturday. So you're welcome to discuss this again. Okay, so guys, it was nice to see you today, and I hope to see you next Saturday. Okay, see you. Bye. Let me finish with our video of Ukraine dating. This is our platform that we create actually for you guys to understand better Ukrainian culture, not just by my words, but different ladies from different ages, and it's really can help you to succeed, but also some of them are our ladies at Match Guarantee, so you can date them too. It's a platform where you can come on live like with me, but I see you're afraid of me. I'm very, very scary. No, so don't afraid, come and get your training and ask your questions, and I hope that it will be really helpful for you. But I'm just looking, but what can you start to play this video of Ukraine dating channel? If you haven't, check it out. You're welcome. Okay, I found it. Okay, see you Saturday. Bye.
Today, it's completely free for you to have a video date face-to-face with beautiful Eastern European women of all ages and walks of life.
Oh my God. That's it. I'm all yours.
So I brought flowers.
Wow, it's so beautiful.
With makeup or no makeup, hair up, hair down, you always look great.
Thank you. You get to ask all your deepest burning questions. Okay, so we will see you live over at ukrainedating.tv.